Hello everyone and welcome to the NARSA weekly update for the week commencing Monday, the 1st of March 2021. It's Gary Gillen here and I'm your host for this week's edition. I hope everyone is doing great and looking forward to more success in Europe as we move forward, and more importantly our close-in on 55. We had to endure a bit of a quieter week on the Rangers front last week with just the one game, and it seems like that game in particular was ages ago. But the good news is, as we record this, there's less than 2 days to go now before we play again, which is super handy with our away tie to Livingston. More about that in just a wee bit here. So I have to mention just this one last time, and I had a wee bit of a strop about the COVID-5 players over the last couple of weeks, and then we had a wee bit of a buzz, not all positive, when the 3 first team members of the COVID-5 were on the bench on Thursday, and then Patterson comes on for what was a slightly off Balogun on Thursday night there. That was one of his poorer games for us, and scores a brilliant goal within a few seconds of the restart. Absolutely incredible, and you could actually see what it meant to the guy as well, which was absolutely fantastic for him. I suspect the football authorities will still come down on them like a ton of bricks, but in the meantime we can enjoy that, and maybe some fresh legs from all 3 players in the first team squad being available for the European ties might not be the worst thing for us as we move forward. So I just wanted to kind of round that one off. I was a bit negative about it the last couple of weeks. The bit of a silver lining had came upon us in the first half, the first part of the second half on Thursday night there, so that was good fun. So on to the game segment, just that. Last week saw us play just a one Europa League game at home this time against Royal Antwerp in the second leg of the last 32 tie, and we came away with an astonishing 5-2 result. That's 7 goals in each of the 2 ties that we played against them, which was almost, not quite, but almost as incredible as the first leg that we played against them. Absolutely brilliant entertainment overall. And we progressed, as you'll know, with a 9-5 aggregate, which does really truly describe what we endured over the 2 legs that we played. And honestly, how utterly sensational was Alfredo Morelos on Thursday? Wow, he was absolutely brilliant, and he seems to be back to hitting peak form just when we need to get ourselves over the line for 55 and to see where Europe takes us as well. So congratulations, thank you and well done to Alfie, and let's keep that going for the Livingston game this week and St Mirren on the weekend. And as you'll know, we drew against Leicester's conquerors Slavia Prague in the last 16, which I think hopefully gives us a realistic chance of maybe making it to the quarter-finals. I don't want to count our chickens before they've hatched or anything like that, but wouldn't that be something if we could actually do that? Coming off of a last 16 victory in the second leg, progressing to the quarter-finals, then marching over to Sharkhead on the Sunday morning to win our 55th title just a mere 4 days later. Oh, that would be absolutely wonderful if it worked out like that. You never know. I think we deserve it after the 10 years that we've endured. And honestly, this is why we do everything that we do on behalf of and for our beloved Rangers Football Club. Every sacrifice, every dollar spent, every mood swing we've endured, every low, and there's been a lot of those, and every high, it's all for times and moments like this. And we have absolutely, to a man and woman, earned the right to enjoy every single moment that is coming our way. This season has been enjoyable for the most part since day one, and it continues to be so as we progress and march towards the 55th title for us. So enjoy it, we deserve it, don't take our eye off the prize, and certainly don't take our foot off the pedal, and let's go, as a very famous Mr. Gerrard once said a number of years back. So this week we have a break from Europe and back with 2 league games. As I mentioned a couple of times earlier there, we're away to Livingston on Wednesday with a 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick-off. Please take a note of the kick-off time. It's a wee bit different than some regular midweek games that we've had over the last wee while. It's a 6 p.m. UK kickoff time on Wednesday. And the last time, you might remember this, the last time we played Livingston away was way back on the 16th of August, in which was our fourth league match of the season, and we turned in, even to date, as I sit here on the 1st of March, we turned in probably one of our worst performances of the entire season. And we came away with a 0-0 draw that day. Ryan Kent almost stole it for us at the very end and just put the shot past the post, but truly I'm not overly convinced we deserved anything more than a point that day, if I'm being brutally honest with myself. But the funny thing about that, to mention this and to be crystal clear, it's only funny now because we're so far ahead and strolling towards the championship. But do you remember how much we as a support kind of freaked out in frustration after that result? I know I did, and I know many others within my circle did, that's for sure. And in hindsight, honestly, it was all just pent up emotional desperation and desire for us not to relive the stupid performances and results from previous seasons, and the desperation for us to maintain a sustained challenge for the championship and the title this season. Who would have known the tremendous run that we would embark on immediately in the aftermath of that game to set the foundation for the amazing lead that we enjoy today? But, just cast your mind back. 4 games into the season, we draw 0-0. It has all the remnants of previous results from previous seasons. And we think, oh my God, is this going to happen again? As it turns out, the answer was no. And I get the fact that I hope I should say that the result that we get on Wednesday isn't reflective of that when we get to take them back on in the Tony Macaroni Arena. So the last time, I certainly don't want, usually this is the part of the podcast where I say I would take that result again, because every result I've been talking about in the past has typically been a win, with 26 wins and only 4 draws. But, we did enjoy a 2-0 home win to Livingston back in late October with goals from Joe Aribo and Jermaine Defoe. And I guess I'll certainly take that result. But after the League Cup final defeat that Livingston endured just yesterday, I wonder how that's going to affect the performance on Wednesday, if at all. And it could have taken a mental and physical toll on them, and we get a somewhat weakened side that could fortify their mettle and have them come out and give us a real game. Who knows? I guess we'll see. But I think if we just honestly as a club stick to what we're good at, I'm very confident we'll see another 3 points closer to 55 for our team. Our second game is a home game this coming Saturday against the team from the most amazing town in the world, St Mirren. And the game is Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, a 3 p.m. UK time kickoff. And the last time we played Paisley's Finest at home was actually our second game of the league campaign back in August the 9th, almost 7 months ago now, man. That's incredible how time has flown. Where we ran out 3-0 winners with an OG to start the proceedings, and then 2 goals from a now resurgent Alfredo Morelos, but he had a strong start to the season as well. And you'll remember we also did beat them 2-0 just before New Year, with goals from Rufin Morelos on that occasion. But the main thing you'll remember is that was sandwiched in between the 3-2 League Cup reverse that was our only domestic defeat of the season to date. So let's make no mistake, St Mirren are no mugs, and they will give us a game, and they've proven that against both sides of the Old Firm this season as well. So I'll take any or either of the league scores that we've enjoyed against St Mirren this season in this Saturday's game to get us a further 3 points closer to 55. And you might remember last week that I mentioned, I think maybe it was the week before last, and maybe it was last week, that I mentioned that it felt like the goals had started to dry up for us. Not so much a feeling, it was a fact. When you looked at the games, we were winning the games by the odd goal, which was adding to the drama and tension that we all feel towards the end of games when the lead is so slender. And I wasn't really taking into account, when I mentioned it last week, I wasn't really taking into account the first Antwerp game, in that 7-goal thriller. But now looking back on that, I appear a little bit foolish because, or maybe motivational, you never know. But we've scored 13 goals in 3 games, so I think I'll just shut up about that sort of stuff as we go forward and take no credit for our return to goal scoring form. As I also mentioned last week, and I'm sure every single Rangers fan across the globe knows this already, we do only need 7 points to clinch 55. And I did mention on the pod that I thought we could win it at the St Mirren game. But the way that it stands right now, even with 2 victories between Wednesday's game against Livingston and Saturday's game against St Mirren, we won't know. We'll have gained 6 of the 7 points that we need for the title, but we won't know whether the St Mirren game will indeed be the clincher until just before 7 a.m. my time on this coming Sunday, when the mob from the East go away to Dundee United and take on Dundee United there. So essentially, we win against Livingston, St Mirren. It's sudden death that we're in now. That Celtic have to keep up with us and win every single game, and then it's basically out down to us for our next game that we play. But I normally don't pay any attention to their games. I have a wee bit more this season, just purely because the implications of what it means for us in our title challenge, and more so of late, since the kind of late last year to turn of this year, as the results weren't going their way and all of the results were going our way and we were extending our lead. I think I might have to make a wee bit of an exception this coming Sunday and maybe get myself up early for the 5 a.m. kickoff game and just follow the result, because I don't want to wake up. I probably won't sleep anyway. I don't want to wake up and then see an abundance of messages and celebratory congratulations between parties and stuff like that and have missed it completely. So I guess we'll see what these 2 games mean for us, and then see whether Dundee United is going to be my second favourite team for 90 minutes on Sunday. I guess we'll see how the week pans out for us first and foremost, and as great as it would be to win it at Sharkhead on the 21st of this month, I'm all for getting this wrapped up as soon as possible. So let's go on that front as well. Points per game, I hear you ask. Rangers 2.73 points per game. This obviously didn't change between last week and this week because we didn't play. And that mob were 2.16 points per game, up 0.03 points per game last week, with their regular and guaranteed 3 points against Aberdeen every single time they play them. So 2.73 versus 2.16, that in and of itself, spread over the course of a season, shows you how wide the gap has truly been for us. And just to finish off from a games perspective, from the RTV perspective, we never did find out what happened at the St Johnstone game on February 3rd. I mentioned this last week as well, that we were going to continue to plug away with RTV and see where it took us in terms of just root cause analysis and trying to find out the steps that were going to be taken to make sure that this didn't happen again. And I know that I'm sounding a wee bit like a broken record since it's so far in the past now. It's almost a month ago, but I did ask again. I wasn't telling fibs when I said I was going to do that, and get told that there was basically no change from what was communicated publicly, which I think refers to the tweet that RTV sent out directly before the game, saying that there was some challenges with third-party providers and a fix was being worked on or something like that. I was also assured that since we've had 2 successful season-ticketed matches since that game, the season-ticketed matches obviously are the Ibrox matches, and then both of those matches were a success in terms of the broadcast feed and quality, that we expect to have the same level of service delivery for future games. It felt honestly like a bit of a total non-answer in my opinion, and quite different from the investigations and explanations that we used to enjoy in previous times with RTV. So I don't know if our relationship is changing with RTV or if it's just new platform provider teething troubles or something like that. I'm not going to dwell on it too much, but I just sincerely hope and pray that our RTV support has been obviously recognised by RTV, I'm fairly sure it is, but that we don't experience any of the same or similar challenges as we lead in, because every single game is crucial for us now. And if we are desperate to watch a game because it's a title clincher and something stupid happens, and then obviously none of us are going to be happy. If we do encounter any issues like that, we will happily provide contact details of RTV support to everyone, as I just don't feel like taking on their first tier support blindly in the future if the information isn't going to be reciprocated between both parties. I know I sound a wee bit negative on that, but it's just a wee bit of a change in character from the service delivery that we've enjoyed before. But as I say, not to dwell on that. Just a regular plug for our RTV vouchers. If you want or need any information on RTV, please do reach out to your club president or secretary, and they will get in touch with me directly, and we will get you sorted. As I mentioned before, it's went very, very quiet on that front. I just had one inquiry for an expired voucher this past week, which we will get sorted in plenty of time for the Livingston game. From a convention update perspective, and no specific updates in terms of anything discernible that we've done and communicated out, but what I can tell you is that March will see movement on opening up the hotel for room bookings, and I hope, we might not quite get there in March, but I hope for tickets to go on sale for the events if we can. Not 100% guaranteed, but certainly from a room bookings perspective, we've already started we've started the ball rolling on that to get those out at some point, hopefully within the next week or so. We have the process fairly much established from previous conventions that we've worked with Caesars directly, so it's just a matter of getting the website details, getting the code word, which I would assume would be NARSA 2022, and getting the contact telephone number in the process, and an understanding of what that process will look like for folks, depending on what type of process they follow to get the tickets, to get the rooms booked, I should say. The tickets process, as I mentioned, will be a wee bit later. And just another reminder, if you have any thoughts or suggestions or feelings on how we could make a large event feel more intimate, please do get in touch on that. I'll keep mentioning that each week. Again, no one has got in touch yet, but I'm sure a bit closer to the time we might get some suggestions on that too. From an other business perspective, I'm very happy to provide a couple of bits of good news in terms of recent additions to the Rangers family. Firstly, I'm very happy to let you know that just this past week, the Rangers family grew by one, with our very own member of the Rangers Supporters Club of Calgary, Kyle Taylor, and his wife Courtney welcoming their second bundle of joy, Ella, to the Rangers world. And Kyle was very delighted to have Ella home in time for the Antwerp return leg on Thursday past. And what a game it was for her first game. He actually sent me a photograph of her sitting in her little car seat or bassinet or whatever it was, in the TV on in the background with the Rangers game. Their classic picture and brilliant to see. So congratulations from everyone at NARSA to Kyle and Courtney. And on a more personal note, my own niece, Kaylee McGoldrick, gave birth to a beautiful baby boy late last night, Aaron Graham Dallas, and was born, I had originally thought it was the early hours of the morning, but that was just when we got told about it. He was actually born just after 11:30 p.m. UK time, born in Scotland. Last night, so the 28th of February, which I'm told is significant because he gets to go to school a year earlier and be the youngest person in class, rather than going a year later and being the oldest person in class as well. So for the longest time, it actually appeared like little Aaron was quite happy to stay where he was because he just wasn't budging. But he's finally out now and already looking forward to 55. So huge congratulations to both Kaylee and Scott. And thank you very much for increasing the Rangers family by 2 more feet. On to our feature segment for this week. Last week I did have the pleasure of sitting down with Paul Murray, a former director and interim chairman of our beloved club, and we had the interview Thursday, published it on Friday, and it was great. If you haven't managed to check it out yet, please go and try and take a peek. It's on all of the regular platforms and on our YouTube channel as well, and it really was a fascinating insight into the guy, his background as a Rangers fan, his career that took him to Ibrox, the trials and tribulations that he had to navigate and endure in trying to make Rangers a success on his first tour and trying to secure control back from the clowns who are, in inverted commas, running the club at the time. And as I say, if you get a chance to check it out, Paul speaks very well, and take a wee peek and share it if you like it. It was thoroughly enjoyable. From a communications perspective for this week, a couple of things I just wanted to highlight and note from a Rangers perspective, two in particular, that you might have seen last, I think it was Friday, the club announced a formal partnership with Charles Tyrwhitt. Now, my initial attempt at this was Tyrwhitt, or Tyrwhitt, and I've got information from source that it's pronounced Tyrwhitt, so I hope that's actually true. And they put an article on the website discussing this partnership, and Charles Tyrwhitt is a luxury shirt maker. And the Rangers site said the Rangers are delighted to announce Charles Tyrwhitt as our new official formal shirt supplier. As a proudly British brand, the shirt maker is highly regarded for their formal wear and welcomes Rangers alongside their partnerships with England Rugby and Fulham FC. So for those who don't know the company, Charles Tyrwhitt Shirts Limited, also known as CT Shirts, is a British multi-channel men's clothing retailer. They do more than just shirts now, specialising in dress shirts as well as ties, suits, casual wear and shoes and accessories, etc. And it was founded as a mail order company back in 1986. So this isn't so much of a history lesson as it is more just to let you know that they also have a large online presence, and they have sites dedicated to consumers from the UK, Germany, France, Holland, the US, Canada, Australia and places like that. Those are the ones that I know about, with the full product range. So if you went to their website and checked out ctshirts.com, that's ctshirts.com, it'll direct you to where you need to go. So I did a test on the weekend there, and it came up acknowledging the fact that my geo range was Canada, and then everything is in Canadian dollars and provides all the information we need. So if you feel like going and taking a peek at some of their stuff, their stuff looks like it's really good. I haven't sampled any of it myself, but please do so. And they just seem to be another good quality established brand that Rangers have partnered with and brought them on to the Rangers stable, like some of the other quality brands that we have as well, and another outlet that you can use if that's the sort of thing that you are into as well. And you also might have noticed that the club were promoting the services on an email from the weekend there. I received the email on Saturday, and I'm sure some or all or most of those listening maybe received the same email promoting NordVPN and the partner of NordVPN. Part of the email had said, NordVPN is the world's leading VPN provider, and it shows. It's an extremely easy to use app which lets you change your virtual location and secures all your online activity in the process. Simply tap once and you'll be virtually transported to the US, France, Japan, or any other of the 59 available countries. What does that mean? So, well, firstly, what is a VPN? It's short for Virtual Private Network, and what it does is it lets you access areas that are typically what they call geo-blocked and get through to geo-blocked websites and content from all around the world, including accessing some of your favourite streaming services such as Netflix and the BBC. So you basically can use it to change your IP address to make it appear as though you're in a different country and get access to services from that country which might benefit you as a consumer, for example, flights, hotel rooms and more. So just a wee bit more of a dabble into the technology space, and there are some very good deals out there for MyGers members in terms of the NordVPN stuff that they're doing as well. So if you're a MyGers member, you'll have received that email for sure, and go and check it out if that's your thing. From a club perspective as well, and relating to the interview we did with Colin Stewart just a wee while back there, you may have seen on social media this past Friday that our very own NARSA partner 5 Stars has also entered into a formal partnership with Colin Stewart and the Former Players Benevolent Club. And in the communication. It didn't specifically say exactly what they were going to be working on together, just that they have a formal arrangement and more will follow. So if I do know Colin, and I do, and Graham and the team at 5 Stars, I'm sure they're working on some pretty cool and memorable supporting events that's going to help promote this organisation and this very worthwhile cause and help make them some money in the process as well. So really looking forward to seeing what that looks like and seeing if and where that NARSA can help out on that. And one last thing from a communications perspective, I did mention that I was planning to do an interview with Dan Rutstein from Orange County Soccer Club on his United States of Dramerica podcast. We did indeed do that interview this past Thursday, and we drank some whiskey and talked about NARSA and Rangers, and I have to admit it was a great experience, and certainly drinking a few Glenlivets, that's what I chose from my cupboard at the time during the chat, was something I'm truly not fully accustomed to, but it was great fun. I have to admit, it was really good fun. If you get a chance to go, it's already been published. It can be found on the United States of Dramerica.us or on any of your regular podcast platforms, and we had a great time. We talked and walked through a bunch of different stuff, and we drank some whiskey, and we had some laughs and had some fun, and it's a wee bit of a different, lighter take on some of the stuff that I've been putting out over this last wee while. So go take a peek and see if that's of interest to you, and take a peek at some of the previous guests that he's had on there, because as I mentioned last week, he's had some real heavy hitters from a variety of different walks of life, and it was great fun. And the sore head on Friday morning, primarily from the post-pod recording chat that we had, which went into the wee hours, it wasn't exactly welcome, but the rest of it absolutely was. So great fun, and thanks again to Dan for having me on there. This week, I do have to tell you, from an interview perspective, I'm not 100% sure if we'll actually be able to make any of the interviews happen for this week. Right now, we do have a few plates spinning in the air with some key contacts, and if they come to fruition as the week progresses, then we'll definitely be able to provide you with an external interview this week. If not, we'll just skip it this week and pick it back up again next week. So more will follow when we know a wee bit more. I don't like to try and do too many interviews. I'd like to try and do the interviews as timely as possible, because we are going to be talking things like 55, and I don't want to date the podcast too much if we possibly can. So I'm not going to, if I can help it, get a bank of interviews that we can just draw on and release on a weekly basis. It's too much of a time commitment, to be perfectly honest, and as I say, I don't want to make them too dated. So they will be as fresh as we can possibly make them. So if we do have an interview this week, fantastic. If we don't, that's okay too. But what it might do is provide a wee bit of an opportunity for us to really truly get moving on the club interviews that I've been promising since day one of the podcast back in December. So stay tuned, and we'll see if that's going to happen this week or not. And again, if there's anyone else in the periphery of the club, or within the fan base, or within the media, or any celebrities that you think would be good guests on the show, please by all means drop me a line at rangersscc@hotmail.com. That's 2 S's, 2 C's, and we will definitely do our best to get them on if we can. So yeah, just to wrap up here, here's looking forward to another 2 huge league games for us as we close in on 55. And is this the week? Is this the week, folks? Oh, I hope it is. I truly, honestly hope that it is to bring on 55. But if it's not, we can exact a wee bit more patience and wait for another couple of weeks till we make it to Shark Head. So take care, folks. All the very, very best, and thanks a million for listening. And please pass this on to anyone you think might enjoy it. All the best. Cheerio.